Hey Singapore, this is Haris Harun of the Singapore Lions, and you are listening to the best in sports on 938 Live.
From 938 Live.
This is Formula One driver Fernando Alonso.
Hi Singapore, I'm Jürgen Klinsmann.
Hi, I'm Martin Tyler.
This is Annika Sorensen.
Hi Singapore, this is Johnny Wilson. You're locked on to the best in sports. Cheers.
You're listening to SportsZone on 938 Live. A good Saturday to you. I'm Noor Farhan, flying solo today as I'll be taking you through the hour with our guests in the studio today as we chat about local football and the English Premier League. Let's introduce our guests for this week's show. We've got Lions 12's new signings in the form of Sahil Suhaimi and Izdin Shafiq. We've also got our 938 Live sports desk intern Brian Ting, who is an avid Chelsea fan, and also our former intern Hui Chia, who's a Newcastle fan. Welcome to the show, guys. All right, now Sahil, let's start with you. From the Koh Siang Lions to the Lions 12 this year, are you looking forward to playing in the Malaysian Super League, given all you've heard about it?
Yeah, I've watched them play for the past 2 years, and the league and also this Malaysian league is not easy, as in like the pace is obviously different from the S League, and I'm excited to play in the Malaysian league.
What has your teammates in the national team told you about the MSL? I mean, more tougher tackles and tighter markings and all that.
Yeah, as in like they will be hard. They will be hard on you lah, and obviously the pace and the intensity is different lah. So
yeah, looking forward, I suppose. Now tell us about your season in the S League last year. How was it like? I mean, did you learn a lot from the S League?
Yeah, as in from the team and also and my teammates also, I've learned a lot lah. How, as in like to adapt at first lah, and games after games, and I slowly cope well with my teammates, and also get to know them better lah.
Now, Izdin, you're back in the Lions 12 after a season with Home United. Now, how does it feel to be selected by Coach Fandi for the upcoming season? I'm sure it's a big honour for a player like you to come back into the fold again.
Yeah, it feels great, and I'm honoured to be part of the team.
What have you learned with Home United that you'll bring into the Lions 12? I mean, surely there are things in midfield that you'll be bringing to the squad this time around.
I've learned a lot throughout my journey with Home United. I have learned new style of playing football, such as more passes instead of long balls. So I will try to apply the skills that I've learned from Home United to my current team.
Right, now, Brian, you were at some S League games last season. Do you enjoy watching the Warriors winning the league? I mean, it was one of your highlights covering the S League in the last campaign, wasn't it?
It was really nice, seeing all the Warriors fans cheering their team on, and especially the context of it, that DPMM were actually trailing against Tampines Rovers at Jalan Besar. So it's like towards the final whistle, you can see all the Warriors fans cheering because they know that the title was in their hands. And after that, I spoke to the Warriors coach Alex Weaver, and he was really happy, and he was so glad that the players put out a good performance to win the league.
Right, now, your hometown club Tanjong Pagar will not be playing this season. How do you think that'll affect the fans of the local league this year?
I mean, definitely the crowd will not be there because there's no S League game to watch, and every night, during S League nights, there won't be that special atmosphere at Queenstown Stadium, and I feel that it's a loss to the S League that Tanjong Pagar is not actually playing in the league next season.
Right, now, and Hui Che, welcome back, and it seems you've changed a little bit since you enlisted into the army about 3 months ago. Now, when it comes to local football, I'm sure you followed the Lions 12 in action. Now, do you think that Coach Fandi has his work cut out for him this season?
Well, I think for Fandi, yes, he has work cut out for him. I think he knows what he needs to do for the next season. One of the main things is really, from what I've seen, is to really get the players to take their chances in front of goal. Some of them, they have very good build-up play for some of the matches, but they just lack that finishing touch in front of goal to really go for it.
And that's why the man beside you is here, Sahil Suhaimi, to tap in the chances for the team. Now, Hui, once again, the main gripe, though, will be that thin squad. Now, being made up of youngsters, they're bound to miss players along the way due to NS. Now, being in NS yourself and experiencing the training, do you feel that the recruits of today will suffer difficulties, let's say, if they have to play club football, maybe professionally on weekends also?
Yes, because I'll share with you a bit of an experience from NS. The NS is tiring. Despite all the funny stories people tell you, NS is tiring, and based on the training, the NS recruits, most of us, when we book out, we have about 48 hours, and sometimes all we want to do is just kick back, relax, and just take our mind off training or physical activity. But for those that have to play professional football, for example, is physical activity on top of what they have already during the week. And I think their performance will suffer if we are going to say, oh, you can do NS and on your bookouts we're going to let you do professional football. It's going to suffer because there's no time for recovery in between all this physical activity.
Right. Now, Isdin, do you agree? I mean, you've done your NS already,
Yes.
right? Yeah, and it's a tough balance. I mean, to balance your energy with your club football and your NS obligations. What is your experience like?
Yeah. While I'm doing my NS, I serve my NS. I have to wake up early at 5 a.m. to report in the camp. Then afternoon I have to go back, go to training. So the same everyday, same routine. You see, so it'll be very tiring for me also.
But you managed to overcome all of that, and
Yes.
now you're enjoying your football full
Yeah,
time.
definitely.
And you're listening to SportsZone on 938 Live, and today we turn the focus on football with our guests in the studio. And if you've just joined us, with us in the studio are Lions 12's newest signings, Sahil Swaimi and Isdin Shafiq. Now, they're joined by 938 Live Sports Desk interns Brian Ting and former intern Hui Chia. Now, back to you, Isdin. How would you describe Home United's performance in the S-League in the previous campaign, of course?
I feel that we started off well in the beginning of the season. However, we couldn't maintain the consistency when it came to the mid-season. We worked hard to get into the Singapore Cup final. Although we were defeated in the finals, we are glad that we had a chance to qualify to the stage.
Alright, now playing against Malaysian Super League clubs will be tough, I'm sure. Now, how are you going to protect yourselves from the nasty tackles and other on-pitch incidents? I know for a fact that stadiums like the Johor Stadium and even the Kelantan Stadium, it will be very intense in terms of fan experience. Surely you're going to prepare yourself for all of that?
Yeah, based on my experience playing for the Malaysian Super League in 2013, I am roughly able to know how rough and intense they can be. So hopefully, based on the experience, I will be able to counter their tackles.
Alright, now Sahil, what about you? Surely you'll be preparing because they're going to mark you really tightly. I mean, in the SEA Games, you experience how you have little space to release shots and all that. Surely you have some tricks up your sleeve maybe for the Malaysian Super League?
Yeah, I think I'll be making more of the runs and more shots in the game itself. As in, like, it's not easy to pass these Malaysian League teams as you can see, they got a lot of foreigners and also will be more stronger and tougher .
Alright, now you're a familiar face now with the national team. Has the journey been difficult? I mean, from the under-21s all the way straight to the senior side. Is there like a major shift in like standard maybe?
It has been an exciting journey for me, and I've always set my sight representing Singapore at the SEA Games and Asian Games, and now I'm in the national team, and also from there, slowly I'm working harder to achieve what I want to achieve in future.
Right, but do you feel pressure though? I mean, Alexander Duric has now retired, and Singapore's in terms of strikers, we're a bit on a shortage. Do you feel like the pressure is too much though sometimes?
Yeah, as in like the pressure obviously will like keeps bothering me as in like I'm a striker, but also at the same time I try to score as many as I can in the game. And let's take one game at a time.
Do you have like a goal scoring target maybe in 2015? I mean, a number perhaps, or is just one game at a time?
Just one game at a time.
Okay, nice. Now, Hui, I think that the Lions 12 have a problem though with a goal scoring striker last season. I mean, as you have seen, their lack of clinical finishing up front saw them finish 8th in the MSL. What do you think?
That was a disappointing season, we all have to say. I think yes, they didn't take their chances in front of goal. They lacked that finishing. But also one thing that contributed to this 8th in MSL, sometimes their defense went to sleep. Actually, there are some matches where you just see the defenders just static there, and then you're like, what's happening?
Okay. Now, but do you think that things might improve though this season? There's a bit of a rule change now that you're allowed to have 4 foreigners playing on the pitch. For us, it's just our local boys.
Yes, I think it may be a little bit of a disadvantage for us because, as we know, unfortunately in the football world, money talks, and if they can buy high quality players from abroad, and our Lions, we focus on homegrown development. In the short term, yes, it'll be a little to a Lions disadvantage, but over a long term, hey, some of our stars may blossom, and we might, get one of our very own Wayne Rooney's or Steven Gerrard's.
Yeah, maybe. Well, in the future, maybe. Well, Brian, coming back to the S League now, we've got the Quartz Young Lions with players who could make the squad for the SEA Games this year on home soil. Now, how important is it for them, though, you think, not to finish last? Because I'm sure last place finish will be a bit of a dent to their morale.
I do not think so, because I feel that the Quartz Lions Child, they are a very young team and probably sometimes inexperienced team. So for them to play in the S League is actually mainly for them to gain experience against stronger and more experienced opponents. So I do not think that them finishing last will actually affect their morale. But I feel that them learning the mistakes together in the same team will actually increase their morale and probably increase their chemistry with playing with one another on the pitch.
Well, Sahil, do you think that that's the case, though, playing for the Lions 12? I mean, you guys played together. Does that translate into more chemistry on the pitch for the national team, especially?
Yeah, I think it helps playing together, and also for a few years playing alongside together with your same group of teammates, and I think we got that better understanding rather than you just separate teams.
Who are some of the players that you've played with for a long time? I know Shafiq Ghani is one of them, right? I mean, you play in tandem with him quite well. Who else in your cohort from the NFA all the way until now? Who are some of the names you have worked with?
It's like Shaki Hamza, Shazwan Buhari, Al-Qasimi, Faris Lamri, all the 92 batch.
Right. But isn't you're not with the same batch, right? I mean, you're with the Haris Harun batch,
yes.
if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
And Izwan Mahmud as well.
Yeah.
And what do you think of your previous batch? I mean, your batch after you. Do you think that you guys can work together?
Yeah, I think we can work together because we all from NFA, see. So from NFA we have learned a lot of things. So once we gel up together, hopefully we all can work very, very, you see, work together easily.
Right. Now, on to the Suzuki Cup, though. Last month, Brian, you watched the team being dumped out in the group stages. And some said it was because of Coach Bernsteiner, though. But what's your opinion of that? Is it just one factor, or is it like a bunch of factors coming together and
Honestly, most people were saying that Bernsteiner chose a very young squad, but I don't think that's the mistake. I think because look at Thailand, they had an average squad of 23 or 24 years old, and they still won the Suzuki Cup. I think it's probably because I personally feel that it's probably his lack of experienced players in the team. Like Isa Halim was fit, but he wasn't even in the squad. So I feel that Bernsteiner has a lot of building to do during this preseason, and probably he should try and instill more youngsters in Adam Swandy and all this, because we have heard of their names, but we haven't really seen them in action for Singapore.
Alright. Sahil, do you think that 2014 was a painful year for the national team? I mean, you were in the squad though, but surely it'll stoke up the motivation to prove the doubters wrong this year.
Yeah, it's for footballers, there are ups and downs, and what we can do is to improve and make sure don't repeat the same mistake again as what the previous tournament that we did, and also try to work harder and try to prove people wrong.
Right. Now, in the Suzuki Cup, you've noticed some of the talents in the region. I mean, you saw that Myanmar and even Vietnam, they're a very speedy and tough bunch. And then there's Thailand with the new young stars in Chanatip Songkrasin and Sharil Shapuis. How was it like playing against them, the two Thais, the young stars, of course?
For a team like Thailand, they are quite a balanced team also, the oldies and also the youngsters, and they got some good players like you mentioned, Chanatip and also Chari Chapuis, and I think that they are both talented players lah. But okay, we managed to cope with them and also try to keep up with them.
Alright. Are you looking forward to facing them again? I mean, they are part of the under-23 squad in Thailand. I mean, they're going to come back to Singapore in the Sports Hub and face you guys again. Are you looking forward to that match? If it comes, of course.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward. If next year maybe we got as in like this year we group stage maybe we got same team against like how we did at AFF. Why not?
Yeah, right. Now, Isdin. Now the buzzword this few years has been about developing and discovering new, fresh talent to replace the old guard in the national team. You were once in the NFA program. Do you think that it's easy these days for a normal young player to make the cut and wear the national jersey? Is it as easy as it looks?
It's not as easy as it looks. I started with NFA at the age of 15, and to reach to where I am now is honestly not easy. You have to work very hard to reach your goals, and discipline is very, very important. Yeah, see.
Yeah, and especially time management, right? Like you mentioned just now. Right now, before we go to the news and traffic, though, do you have a message to Lions 12 fans who are listening in right now, Sahil? What do you have to say to the Lions 12 fans?
I like to say to Lions 12 that do come down and support us, and I hope this year will be a better year for us, and obviously I won't disappoint you guys.
Alright, and Isdin, what do you have to say to your fans?
As a player, nothing motivates us than seeing the fans turning up in full force to cheer us. So my message to our fans is, please continue to support us.
Well, it's halftime right here on SportsZone, and the news headlines are up next. When we resume in a few minutes' time, we'll continue our chat, this time on the English Premier League. So stay tuned, because it's all happening right here on 938 Live. Welcome back to part 2 of SportsZone on 938 Live. I'm Noor Farhan, and this week our focus is on football. In the first half, we were chatting about local football, and in the second half, we'll be chatting about the English Premier League. We're also opening up our phone lines for you to give your opinions on the EPL. Now, the number to dial is 669-11938, but we'll be opening the phone lines much later. Before that, though, let's get straight down to the second half of our show, and it's been a flurry of goals during the EPL fixtures on Thursday night, as well as on yesterday morning. Now, it was a cold and windy day at the Britannia Stadium, as Man United could only draw 1-1 against Stoke City 2 nights ago. Man U striker Radamel Falcao equalised in the first half, of course, to cancel out Ryan Shawcross's opener for the Potters, and the Red Devils boss Louis van Gaal thinks their flank play didn't work out as planned in their match against Stoke. Now, Sahil, you followed that match. As a Man U fan, do you think that the team squandered chance after chance in that game, and now they can't even keep up with the league leaders? Do you agree about that?
No, I think that they building up the team as well, and you can see that most of the players are injured, and also they were improving game by game and getting stronger and stronger. So I think they can keep up with the league leaders.
Alright, now what's your opinion on striker Radamel Falcao, though? As a striker, do you see aspects of his game which are very good? What do you think?
Yeah, I think Falcao is a wonderful striker. As in, like, that's how strikers should be, like, in, like, creating problems up front and also coming back for the ball and try to score as in goal.
Right. Huiche, what's your take on Man U season? Do you think they can win the title, or is it just too far of a stretch for them?
Well, I think looking at the next few fixtures they may have a chance to close in on the league leaders. For example, because Chelsea and Man City actually play each other a few games down the road. So if they slip up and Man U manages to capitalise on this whole slip up, they may very well just catch up to them, and who knows, title may be in reach.
Right, now when you mentioned slip up, that Chelsea fan over there, Brian, he's just like hiding. Now, the biggest shock, of course, Brian, was Chelsea's 5-3 loss at Tottenham. 2 goals by Harry Kane, 1 penalty by Andros Townsend, and also goals by Danny Rose and Nasser Chadli. What do you think of that match?
Well, that match, I would say it's more on Tottenham playing really well, and I feel that our team, Chelsea, they played really lethargically. Mourinho has played the same starting 11 ever since the beginning of the season, and I feel that it has backfired. I feel that with the squad depth that Chelsea has, we should be changing our squad, doing some squad rotations. But however, let's not take any credit from Spurs. Harry Kane, Chadli, they terrorized our defense, who were very slow, and they were very quick and pacey. So, I felt that kudos to Spurs lah for beating us and letting us learn a lesson.
You mentioned that Mourinho has been playing the same starting 11 for a few games now. So are you saying that exhaustion is the reason why they're suddenly down in this game?
I would say that's one of the reasons, because no top athlete can play. During this festive period, there's 5 games in 14 days. No top athlete can play so many amount of games at the top level consistently. So I really felt that Mourinho should have rotated the squad and probably give some fringe players more chances to play.
Izden, do you agree with that? I mean, hectic schedule, was that the reason for Chelsea's loss against Spurs?
Yes. Being a footballer myself, I experience tight schedules. So our body system will be affected if we don't have enough recovery or proper rest. So that might be one of the factor that to their heavy defeat.
Alright, and if we share one of the major talking points though of this week was the managerial musical chairs involving your favourite club Newcastle and Alan Pardew, and he looks set to fill the hot seat at Crystal Palace instead, a club which he used to play for. Now the Magpies, they failed to collect all 3 points. They only managed a 3-3 draw against Burnley. Pardew might be on his way to Selhurst Park, and Eagles interim manager Keith Millen agrees that he's the right man for the job. But aren't Newcastle going to miss Pardew? Are they making a wrong move here?
I mean, based on recent results, I don't think we'll miss Pardew very much. I mean, you see, for the second half of last season, after we sold Johan Cabaye, the entire team just crashed and burned, and we were really lucky to have just stayed up. But the thing is that Pardew, he's very resistant to change. The thing, what he did with Newcastle was that he kept playing the same players over, and he tried to do something like what happened in Chelsea. He tried to play the same players over and over, although they were totally ineffective. For example, you have Mike Williamson, our central defender, which he was good at the starting of the season, but as the season wore on, his form deteriorated. But Pardew still kept playing him. I don't know why.
So you're saying his favourites? Yes, his favourites in his team, and that's
favourites in the team.
All right,
but there's one thing I need to give Pardew credit for, is that when his plan comes together, it comes together very spectacularly. Like, I'm sorry that win over Chelsea was really very good.
Well, alright, the 3-3 draw against Burnley though, surely they could have done better against the Clarets. They are after all a bottom team. A 3-3.
Definitely they could have done better. The first half was fantastic, really fantastic. We pushed them, we didn't let them get into our half, and then even when we scored our own goal against ourselves, we didn't collapse like the Newcastle of last season. We in fact got another goal back, and we went into the break 2-1. But then after that, when we came out, the entire team just seemed out of place. I don't know what Pardew or the assistant manager probably told him during the halftime talk, but the whole team just seemed very slow, seemed very awkward in a certain sense.
Lack of motivation maybe. Well, as for the reigning champions Manchester City, they narrowly beat Sunderland 3-2, and a last ditch header by Chelsea man Frank Lampard sealed all 3 points for the citizens. City have extended the loan deal for Lampard, meaning to say he'll only play for New York City FC at the end of the Premier League season. Izden, what do you think of a veteran player like Frank Lampard? He's already 36 years old. How is he able to play so well at the highest level?
I think Frank Lampard strikes me as a very hardworking player. I think he's doing very well now in Man City, because he feels that he has been given a second chance in EPL, and he wants to make useful of his opportunity.
Yeah, well, his final chance maybe before he moves on to the MLS. MLS? Yeah, MLS in the US. What is it about being... isn't you're a midfielder with Home United and Lions 12 and Koh Siang Lions before that? What is it about being a midfielder that's so difficult? You have to be a good runner and a good passer as well, isn't it right?
Yeah, it's a challenging position, because a midfielder is the engine of the team. You see, to perform well as a midfielder, you have to be very, very fit, mentally strong, such as being able to think fast, distribute the ball. Most importantly, you have to make yourself available at all times on the pitch.
To receive the short passes and all that. Right. Now, Sahil, what do you think of Man City? You're not a Man City fan, you're a Man U fan. But how come City are second and the Red Devils are third this season? Surely there's a reason behind that.
As you can see, City is the defending champion, and also they got the same squad as last year's. So yeah, I think like they are better ahead of Manchester. I can say that.
But their striker Sergio Aguero is injured. But when he's not injured, he's like one of the best Premier League strikers.
That's the advantage.
Yeah.
But now it's a good time for Manchester to catch up. It's like they don't have the Manchester don't have Aguero, so I don't think so that they can score more goals.
But when you look at Sergio Aguero as a person, as a player, I mean, he's not the biggest player. He cannot get all the headers. But despite his small size, he can get the goals. What do you think is the secret about that?
I think he's a smart player. He know where and how to run and where to create chances, and also I don't know. It's just that he's a smart player. Same goes to like Messi and this kind of thing. They are small size, but they can really do something
and appear in the box at the right place at the right time to score goals. Yeah. Well, in the other key fixtures, Liverpool drew 2-2 against Leicester City. Arsenal lost 2-0 at Southampton, and West Ham drew 1-1 against West Brom. More on the other EPL clubs after the traffic updates. Plus, we'll be opening the phone lines at 669-11938 to hear your views on the halfway mark of the English Premier League season. Can Manchester United win the EPL title this year? Or is Liverpool destined for a mid-table finish in 2015? And will Arsenal miss out on Champions League football in their next campaign? Or if you want to chat about local football, then you can call in as well. Number to dial 669-11938. That's 669-11938. Time now for Traffic Watch.
What's up, Singapore? I am Fazrul Nawaz and play for the national football team. For all your football news, stay tuned to SportsZone on 938 Live.
Welcome back to the final stretch of Sports Zone as we resume our chat on the English Premier League. You can call in now at 669-11938 to give your views on the halfway mark of the English Premier League season. Can Manchester United win the EPL title this year? Is Liverpool destined for a mid-table finish in 2015? And will Arsenal miss out on Champions League football in their next campaign? Number to dial 669-11938. That's 669-11938 now. So let's get right down to business. We left off at the Manchester clubs before the break, but surely it's hard times, especially if you're an Arsenal fan. They lost 2-0 at Southampton, which means the Gunners are 5th in the EPL and out of the Champions League spots. Now, to rub salt into the wound, Saints coach Ronald Koeman thinks his club could have scored more against the Londoners. Now, Sahil, the Gunners had this coming for quite a while, but let's talk about Southampton first. They've got quite a squad under the tutelage of Ronald Koeman. People wrote them off after they sold their key players. But what do you think is the secret of Southampton's current good form? They're now 4th in the table.
I think Southampton is very an interesting team. As in, like they are good at passing games, and also they have confidence to drive forward, and also they are confident to against the big teams like Manchester, like Arsenal, and so forth. And if they keep on playing like this, I think they will stand a chance to play in the Europa League.
Champions League or even Europa League. Yeah, right. Now, Brian, what do you think about Southampton? They've got their youth players right there, and Graziano Pelle as well, the striker.
Okay, I feel that Southampton, Ronald Koeman has done a very good job. They have a very collective spirit, and I feel that their team plays for one another. And honestly, I'm very surprised at how well Koeman has transformed the team, especially by seeing a Chelsea loanee, Ryan Bertrand. At Chelsea he was average, but seeing him play for Southampton now, it's like he has a new lease of life. He's playing so well, and I feel that, of course, there are some important players and also astute signings by Ronald Koeman, in signing Graziano Pelle, like what you said, and also keeping hold of Schneiderlin. I feel that Schneiderlin and Wanyama, they are the midfield cock of Southampton, and I feel it's because of these two and probably Jose Font in their defence. That's why Southampton can play so well as a team.
We were having this conversation earlier in the week. Schneiderlin versus Fabregas of Chelsea. Who's the better player? What do you think?
In terms of assist factor, definitely Fabregas. But in terms of defending, in terms of heading balls away, in terms of breaking up play, I think Schneiderlin is better at that.
Right now, but what happened to Arsenal though? They lost 2-0 against the Saints. What do you think of the Gunners' season so far? The pitchforks seem to be coming out for Arsene Wenger, just like how pitchforks came out for Alan Pardew. What do you think of the Gunners?
I don't know. I really have no idea what happened to Arsenal. Suddenly they lost that magic that Wenger had. But I think for them, I think it's a bit of exhaustion on one part. They had a very hectic schedule early on in the season with their Champions League commitments. But I think for this recent downturn in form is just puzzling. I don't know.
Perhaps new signings in the January transfer window. I heard Sami Khedira is on a free transfer from Real Madrid. Could that possibly, that signing possibly help Arsenal at all?
Maybe it might spark. It might. Sami Khedira, he's a person that can really change the whole team dynamic. So he might probably give Wenger a few options, a few more ideas for the team in his creativity.
Right. Now, Isdin, as a neutral supporter, what do you think of Arsenal? I mean, have they lost the plot somehow?
I predict that Arsenal will win the game because they have a lot of quality players such as Ozil, Podolski, Alexis Sanchez. Hull pulled off a shock 2-0 win over Everton. But I don't think they can beat Arsenal, who will want to recover from their loss to Southampton.
Alright. Well, but their striker Lucas Podolski is going to Inter Milan. That's settled. Their midfield, though, do you think that more could be done, perhaps?
Yeah, like Wisher, Thomas Rojicki, they all are such a good player. So probably they can merge up with their strikers to fight against Hull.
Yep, right.
Yeah.
Well, we do have a caller on the line. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to speak about English Premier League because doesn't. I mean, it's quite it's exciting, but I'm more concerned about local soccer,
right?
Especially the S League. Okay, I just want to know what is FAS going to do about Mr. Lim Chin, the S League CEO, who took a drastic action against those wage players, and there's a turnaround in the issue of the players coming back to perform. And as a CEO of Lim Chin, since his what he wanted to do didn't manage to get it. So if the SA is actually going to be going to failure again, and then is he going to just walk out, and then another CEO going to come in, another 2 years contract, 3 years contract, and what happened to the Singapore soccer coaches when the first coach, the Abramovich, okay, it was 2 or 3 years contract, didn't succeed very well, went down. Now he's got another strange name, I don't know. He came in, also not working out. I think after his contract finishing, I don't know who you're going to bring in. Years going in, years going back, people coming in, managers coming in, coaches coming in, and Singapore soccer is still going down the drain.
Oh, well, all right. Thanks very much. Now, local soccer, though, it's quite a touchy topic, don't you agree, Brian? I mean, but I'm sure looking forward, I mean, things could get better this year, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I mean, I heard that the age limit is actually gone, so players over the 30 can play. So I hope that more S-League clubs can integrate more experienced players in their squad, so they could actually pass down the experience to the younger players, and hopefully there'll be more exciting football.
All right, and Huiche, I'm sure you look forward to 2015 as a year where it's a new year. I'm sure there are new plans up ahead for the FAS as well.
Definitely. This year the FAS actually did a review on a few of their goals that they actually set a few years back, and it's true. Some of them they didn't meet, some of them they met. And for what the FAS plans for Singapore football, that we don't know yet. But definitely things are changing and things are going to be exciting for next year.
Right, now, great. Now let's get back to EPL football now, shall we? Now, the other fixture, of course, is Liverpool's 2-2 draw against Leicester City. What do you think of the Reds season, Brian? From second place, now they are mere draw against the bottom club. Surely things can get better in Liverpool?
Okay, honestly, I'm puzzled. Okay, I'm really puzzled why they suffer. I think probably just due to the injury of Daniel Sturridge and probably the failure of Balotelli scoring any goals. So, I mean, but I feel like Raheem Sterling is doing actually very well now in the striker's position. So, and I think they've won against Swansea and they played really well against Leicester, but I don't know why they considered the 2 goals. So, if that's the formation that Brendan Rodgers wants to stick to, I think it might work, but I still feel that they need to reinforce even more in the January transfer window and probably find someone who can actually replace Gerrard.
Alright, now speaking of strikers, Mauro Balotelli hasn't been actually firing on all cylinders. He has got quite a goal drought. Sahil, as a striker, what do you think? Why is he having a goal drought? Is it because his teammates can't find him on the pitch? Or is he just not tracking back to defend? Or surely there's a reason for Mauro Balotelli's flop, as flop signing, of course, yeah.
For me, he don't really fit in the team. As it's hard for him to get the ball and also score goals for Liverpool. And I think he
should be sold, maybe.
Think so, maybe.
Yeah. Right, now, Huiche, what do you think of Steven Gerrard's possible departure from the Reds? He's a Liverpool icon, much like how Alan Shearer is a legend at Newcastle. But will his departure impact the Reds at all?
I think for his departure from the Reds, he will be a loss to the team. He's something like what we call a midfield general already, very experienced, still very fit, and I think for them to find a suitable replacement will be, I think he is irreplaceable in a certain sense that Liverpool without Steven Gerrard, we will all know that it will not be the same ever again. But I was thinking when I came out of camp that where will he go or what will he do? What is his future after Liverpool? That's what I was thinking. But one thing is that for sure is that just like Shearer at Newcastle, I think Gerrard will leave this legacy with him at Liverpool. Like when people mention Steven Gerrard, there's only one club and that's Liverpool for Gerrard.
Right, maybe even like a statue for him in front of the cop stand or something like that for Gerrard.
Hey, maybe they have the money to do that.
Right, now before we go though, let's look at some of the English FA Cup fixtures happening this weekend. It's Newcastle against Leicester City at the King Power Stadium tonight at 11 p.m. Now, Huiche, what's your score prediction? Newcastle against Leicester City.
Newcastle, we have never done well in any cup competitions. We lost to a League 2 side 2 seasons ago. I have no idea how that happened, but I'll have faith in Newcastle. I'll say 2-0 to Newcastle for this one.
Really confident prediction there, 2-0. Well, it's Chelsea against Watford on Monday morning. Brian, an easy win for the Blues, maybe?
Yep, probably adding 3-0.
So that's a really big scoreline.
To give respect to Watford, but I think if Mourinho does rotate the squad, I think our squad strength and depth is good enough to cope with Watford.
Right, now the other match, of course, is Man United against Yeovil Town on Sunday night. Sahil, as a Man U fan, it has to be like a big scoreline for you, right? I mean, 5-0 at least. But what's your score prediction for this one?
It's going to be 3-1.
3-1, okay. Maybe one goal conceded, perhaps from the defensive mistakes.
Yeah.
Well, as current champions Arsenal will face Hull City on Monday morning in a tournament. Isden, you're a neutral, Arsenal Hull City. How do you see this one panning out?
Like I said before, I predict that Arsenal will win the game because they have a lot of quality players such as Ozil, Sanchez. Hull pulls off a shock 2-0 win over Everton, but I don't think that they can beat Arsenal, who want to recover from their loss to Southampton.
Yeah, perhaps this is the match where they can regain some form in a sense, don't you agree?
Yes.
Right, now, well, that's all the time we have for SportsZone today. A big thanks to our interns, Brian Ting and Hui Chia. Also, a big thank you to our Lions 12 players in the studio, Isdin Shafiq and Sal Swaimi. And do catch the duo in action in the Malaysian Super League when they take on recently promoted PDRM at the Jalan Besar Stadium on the 7th of February. Till next time, I'm Noor Farhan. Have a happy new year. Take care and bye for now.